month of August presents another opportunity to educate, mobilize political will and resources to address the humanitarian situation in the world. The World Humanitarian Day for 2019 is to attract more attention to the over 130 million people throughout the world who are currently in crisis, either through war or natural disasters, and are in need of humanitarian aid, according to the United Nations. It is also very important to recognize and appreciate the aid workers as captured in the 2019 theme, Women Humanitarians. This episode of Big Story will spotlight the situation in Nigeria 10 years since insurgency began. I'm Ini John Mekwa. More than 2.2 million Nigerians, according to the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, were homeless as at December 31, 2018. The causes include disaster, conflict, but more connected to insurgency. The outbreak of Boko Haram insurgency in 2009 has steadily become the single greatest cause of displacement, with the federal government recording about 868,000 internally displaced persons in the northeastern region alone. With the combined efforts of the government at various levels, international organizations, non-governmental organizations, as well as individual contributions, over 63% of the IDPs reside in host communities, sometimes in camp-like conditions clustered around schools, churches and mosques. In the camp, half of the population are women. 60% are below 18 years of age, while 25% are people with specific needs, although the gap for basic living requirements cannot be overestimated.
You know, people are plenty. Everybody has his own character. So there are some people who are dirty, and from where we are sleeping, it looks somehow. So sometimes I feel like it will be better for me to go back to the village.
Yeah, we are managing with the shelter here. We get some places that we used to hide, but food we used to eat once a day because they used to cook only once a day here. And the clothes they used to give us, some they used to bring, but there are not many like this.
These women are idle, and then if we depend on giving them food and mosquito nets, there will be at a point there will be donor fatigue. So there should be provision for them to learn skills. While they're here idle, let them learn skills that will help them not only while they're here, but even when they go back to their homes, they'll be able to help themselves, not only on the subsistence farming they're doing. Even farming, if they are given more better farming skills, they'll go home and they'll be better farmers.
In Edo State, South Nigeria, about 4,000 of the internally displaced persons have found refuge here, many of them victims of insurgency from Borno and Adamawa states. Run by the International Christian Center for about 7 years now, the camp is situated in Benin. The living condition here seems better than most, at least from the outside. But focusing on the details would change that perception. For instance, the sleeping area does not look so different, as everyone shares an open space and privacy is a luxury. The kitchen is a wood structure and the source of fire is wood, with its attendant disadvantages.
We have to deal with the issue of mosquitoes, deal with the issues of malaria, fever. So we depend solely on donations. And sometimes we have money, we go to different places to buy these medicines for them. We have a small health center. We have some nurses that are working there. And yes, we thank God that we've not had fatalities. And we've been able to manage them, but it's not really enough. If you go there now, there's virtually nothing. So this is another great area of need. If you look at every part of Nigeria right now, you virtually see IDPs everywhere. And the IDPs themselves, it's not their fault. They became IDPs having to face situations that is beyond their control. So those of us who are free, those of us who are not IDPs, should see them as our brothers and sisters, whether they are Christians, whether they are Muslims, or whatever. We see them as our brothers and sisters. And if we all will join the government to support and help them, it will make the next 10 years, the next 20 years, Nigeria will be a safer place to live. But if we allow them to wander and become more hardened, then they turn to criminals, some of them seek revenge, then I don't know how this country will look like.
Mr. Folorunsho says in the camp, particular emphasis is given to education, especially because about 80% of them are children. This is one way of preventing negative consequences of the increase of IDPs. And good enough, there's been a level of success in their performances.
We have Pioneer School for those that have never been to school at all. And interesting enough, they are all interested in going to school. So we have even widows going to school. You know, they want to know how to read and write. At least maybe someday somebody come and give them some skill acquisition and empower them. They can be able to buy and sell. Whatever they are able to produce, they can sell it by themselves and they will not be cheated. So they are all in Pioneer class. And then there are also young ones who have never been to school at all. They are in Pioneer class. And then we have KG 1 to 3. Then we have primary 1 to 5. JS 1 to 3, SS 1 to 3, and to be frank, there is good success story that is coming out from them. When they got here, it was difficult to speak English. It was difficult to understand what they are being taught in school. But I tell you, given the same equal opportunity, they are competing with those from the south, the orphans that were here before. I want to tell you that right now, they take from first position to 30 position before any other person from even places where there is no insurgency. They are very brilliant. They are catching up very well. And all the exams they are doing, like all their primary 6 exam, we've never recorded one person failing. They all pass their exam. Their GS3 exam, they all pass their exams. And then you come to NECO, WAEC, NAPTEP, they're doing handsomely well. The last 2-3 years, we are now having some of them going to different universities. As I'm talking to you, there are more than 45 in different universities. We have some studying medicine, some studying law, some doing mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, international relations. And this year is admission season. We have more than 100 who have scored above 200 JAM and have their SSC, NECO complete. Now, we are going to send more than 200 to different universities. Right now, they are doing post-UME in different universities. And how do we send them to school? We need you. We need everyone.
Education is also a challenge in Bakassi, Cross River State. It's over a decade since the IDP situation caused by not insecurity, but ceding of their former home to Cameroon, displacing over 3,000 Nigerians. Juliet Schooley's education was halted when she was in JSS 3. However, she's one of the more privileged in the camp.
The boy sits on a small chair. Don't even have the hope of going to school again. Some of us, we have future. We have something to do in our future, but there is no way that we can do that now because of school fee. Some of my age mates now, they are pregnant. Some of them, they are married. Some of us, like me, they will come and pay us, enter the farm just to get a little money.
If the government of Nigeria can at least pity us and take the children out of the camp, so that they can be in a natural place of abode and go to school. And if possible, government should offer them scholarship because we have not been compensated.
Education is not the only difficulty. Sexual abuse and exploitation is a significant protection concern among women and children, but the problem is suspected to be greatly underreported. Inadequate humanitarian assistance in camps and newly accessible areas has also resulted in a high level of sexual abuse and exploitation. Channel's television correspondent in Benue State, Pius Ango, visited one of the camps where molestation has been recorded. One of them, who prefers to hide his identity, speaks on some happenings in that area.
August last year, one of the security men here raped our lady here, and the host communities are sleeping with our children, our wives, and the rest of them. And we don't have what to do, because to go back to our various houses, Fulani already occupied our villages. We don't have any option than to sit down and look. We don't have any option to do. Sorry. Our wives now having unwanted pregnancy. For us, we describe it as unwanted because we didn't expect it. Our children, our girls, unmarried ones are having pregnancies. Some of them are aborting them. Some abort them and become sick. We don't know what to do.
We have had a coordinating meeting to review their report. We're working with them. I'm working with security agencies also to get to the bottom of the issue in terms of getting evidence against the security agents, the security personnel that are accused, alleged to have committed what we call a GB, these are issues of GBV and other human rights violations. When we have enough evidence against them, I assure you that we'll get them to face the law.
And one of their key challenges is that of protection. For example, for those in the camps,
Aid worker and community development consultant Helen Tete confirms this unfortunate development and that it is widespread in Nigeria and beyond.
We have a report that globally we have 13,000 babies that have been born as a result of unwanted pregnancies, as a result of rape, and as a result of child trafficking. These pregnancies came, they get pregnant, and we have 13,000 children born out unwillingly out of wedlock or as unwanted babies. All of these children born within the camp. And this data covers from 2013 to 2017 globally.
All this shaped the humanitarian landscape in Nigeria, and the international communities have since shown interest in assisting with the challenge, with an estimated funding appeal for 2019 placed at $847.7 million, according to the United Nations.
The humanitarian response started slowly, but it gained momentum from 2016 up to now, to date. When I took over my responsibilities here, the international community and the government were reaching around 365,000 people that were affected by the crisis. And at that time, there were well over 4-5 million people that were affected. In 2017, the response was scaled up to about 5.6 million people that were assisted. And that response in 2017 was very, very critical, because the government and the international community was able to avert a famine, and they were also able to contain serious cholera outbreaks and other disease outbreaks. So it was quite a critical response. In 2018, a similar scale-up was realized, where another 5.5 million people were provided life-saving assistance, including food, water, sanitation, health, etc. In 2019, we slightly modified our approach. We actually developed what we call a multi-year humanitarian response strategy that brought into sharp focus the need to bridge humanitarian and development assistance in the search of a durable solution.